What's it like to drive a big honkin' Super Duty truck? We had some fun and did some work with the Ford F350 to find out. It's coming up right now on Driving Sports TV. When it comes to work trucks, the Ford F-Series reigns supreme. In 2019, Ford moved nearly 900,000 of them. The model we're looking at today is a top-of-the-line and very tall F350 Super Duty 4x4 Crew Cab Limited. That means it is simply loaded to the gills with features, comforts, and capability. Prices you see it here, $85,675 US, including destination. So I did a quick search on Zillow to see what we could buy for that, and yeah, you can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath Rambler in Alabama. Moving on. I also want to note that since we filmed this particular truck, Ford has released specs on the new 2020 model. Any changes between this 2019 model shown in the video and the 2020 will be identified as we go through this piece. We have a lot of driving ahead of us, on-road and off, but first, let's start with key features. And as with any F-Series, there sure is a lot of them. One reason most buyers will look at this truck is power. And this F350 has it, in the form of Ford's 6.7-liter Power-Stroke V8 diesel. Here it puts out 450 horsepower and 935 pound-feet of torque. In the 2020 model, that's been upgraded to 475 horsepower and 1,050 pound-feet of torque. It's connected to a 6-speed automatic transmission with a dual-range gearbox, part-time all-wheel drive, a locking rear differential with a 3.55 ratio, and towing controls. Thanks to this setup, payload is a whopping 3,950 pounds. Towing maxes out at 20,700 for this particular configuration with a gooseneck. Dually configurations can tow as much as 31,300 pounds. That's like towing 3 full-grown orcas, or 3 African bush elephants, or even a Gulfstream G280. If you ever wanted to do that. Drop the gate to access the 6 3/4 box that's been treated with an optional spray and bed liner. Here you'll find a pull-out step, which is pretty nice for such a tall truck. It also has tie-downs and a 5th-wheel power relay. The crew won't complain about the second row. Here there's plenty of space to stretch out, plus cup holders, seat warmers, power, and a lot more. Just need more room for cargo and don't really care about people? The seats fold up and a cargo box folds down for maximum accommodation. Up front is a truck interior befitting the hefty price. I can't imagine any ranch owner would complain about the materials and usefulness of this space. Ford really knows their target audience. The seats are covered in high-quality leather with 10-way power adjustments, heat, and ventilation. Included upfitter switches allow you to expand capabilities, like adding an aftermarket winch or lighting while maintaining that OEM feel. You also get a large cargo bin with dual cup holders and a power inverter which provides standard AC power for working on the go. Next to this are a pair of USB sockets with a place to store a phone. The head unit is an 8-inch touchscreen running Ford's Sync 3 software. This provides a lot of features including Apple CarPlay and Android Auto functionality, in addition to Wi-Fi, XM satellite radio, and a lot more. The Limited comes standard with premium B&O sound. The touchscreen also displays various camera views, including satellite, backup, bed, and trailer assist. Speaking of towing, you can set a whole lot of parameters related to that in the main digital gauge cluster. This will show status as well. And if you do tow, you'll be happy to find a trailer brake controller easily accessible. Our truck came with the FX4 off-road package, which adds skid plates to protect the fuel tank and transfer case. It also adds hill descent control and gives the shocks special tuning for bumpy trails. Ford throws its entire catalog of active safety at the Limited, with driver alerts, parking assist, rear cross traffic alerts, blind spot warning, collision mitigation, and adaptive cruise control. For wide loads, you can adjust the side mirrors with a push of a button. Another folds them in completely. Headlights are quad beam LEDs for epic illumination. The drivetrain is easily controlled. Going from 2-wheel drive to 4 engages with a twist. One more click moves it to 4 low. Pull to lock the rear differential. Now enough with facts and figures, let's head out and see what it's like to drive one of these. It's clearly bigger than almost anything else on the road. And that got me thinking, what exactly is the motivation for somebody to buy something as big as the F350? 450 horsepower might be impressive, but the real number is 935 pound-feet of torque. That is why this 6.7 liter engine is so incredible. Plus, I'm actually getting pretty good mileage, all things considered. I mean, I'm getting about 15 miles to the gallon around town and freeway combined. And, you know, considering 6.7 liters of diesel power, that's really not so bad. Let's try a 0 to 60 because why not? So I'm in drive mode. There's no other special drive modes to go into here. I'm just going to basically lay into the throttle and see what that 935 pound-feet of torque can do in real numbers. 3, 2, 1, go! Let's burn out! 40, 50, and 60. I think I spent 1 to 2 seconds just spinning the rear wheels there, which is not helpful with my 0 to 60 numbers. Even spinning the tires, the F350 got up to speed in 7.8 seconds. Not bad for tipping the scales at roughly 3 tons. As I mentioned earlier, this truck is equipped with the FX4 off-road package. So that means we need to find someplace where we can play. Someplace that has room for a truck this big. And I know just the place. Even though this does have the off-road package, that doesn't mean it's really intended to be used for rock crawling and forest roads. It's simply too big. However, for anybody on a ranch looking to use one of these, roads like this are actually pretty normal. Let's walk this rig through one of the more rugged features and see how it handles it. Okay, so I'm a little concerned about the approach and departure angles because this thing's got a long wheelbase and then it has a lot of overhang on the front and the back. So hopefully this isn't a problem. We'll approach it from a slight angle. Actually, I'm going to turn my surround view camera on. That's kind of cool. Now, so far I'm just in 4 high. Actually, let's go ahead and switch this into 4 low. Put it into neutral, shift in progress. Okay, now we're in 4 low. I can go back into drive. Let's see if we can get through this. Oh yeah. Man, it's big, but it's actually pretty capable. Okay, next obstacle. Now I would take this up into the playground or to the rock climbing, to the rock garden area, but it's too big. Can't actually drive it up there. Like physically cannot get there. But for actual normal use cases, this F350 will get the job done, even if that means heading off into more rugged territory. Now, as a word of caution, the shocks really aren't great for rough conditions. Wagon-inspired leaf springs are perfect for heavy loads, but not so great for your kidneys. Enough playing. Let's go find something more practical to do with this truck. On the way, I'll dive a little bit deeper into some of the features. So what is the point of putting leaf springs on a modern vehicle then? Well, it actually comes down to capability for what this vehicle was intended. You can load almost 4,000 pounds into the bed of this truck. That's huge. Add dually tires and you're looking at almost 7,000 pounds total payload. which is just simply remarkable in a single truck. On the freeway, it's actually pretty smooth. Right now I'm rolling along at 75 miles per hour. I can even use the adaptive cruise control just by hitting a couple buttons here. We'll go ahead and set it, and then it will pace the vehicle in front of us. I just set a target speed and it will match it up into that speed. It does have lane detection. However, the lane detection is not lane centering, so it won't like do that auto driving thing for you. Instead, it'll just notify you if you're wandering out of your lanes. And it actually does it with a really nice little vibration in the wheel that honestly kind of reminds me of the old Rolls Royce. It just had such a nice, smooth, polite vibration in the wheel. And even though that suspension is really quite awful in off-road conditions, here on the freeway, it's actually pretty good. Interior of this truck really is reminiscent of the higher-end F-150s. There's really no difference. But that's actually a good thing because the interior here is exquisite. We have the Bang & Olufsen stereo system that sounds fantastic. We have the latest sync system, which I actually really like. It's super quick, easy to use, supports Android Auto, supports Apple CarPlay. It's really just kind of loaded with everything. Buttons on the steering wheel, easy to use. I also get manual switchgear for the aircon, as well as the seat warmers and seat heaters. Plus, this has seat massagers, which granted, they're not the best. They're super loud when they're operating, as is the air-conditioned seats. But it's nice that they're a feature, especially after going off-road back there. Yeah, you kind of want the massage unit to, work it out a little bit. There is the matter of price with this thing. I mean, you're looking at 85 grand for this. However, if you're in the market for a Super Duty F350, you have a very good reason for it, most likely. And it's not just because you're a bro who likes to show off the size of his truck. Although you might be. But I would like to think that most people buy these Super Duty F350s because they have genuine work to do. As luck would have it, I happen to have this truck the same week that my wife was redoing our garden. So naturally, we took it on an errand to go get some dirt. We loaded it up with a cubic yard and a half, a load which weighed roughly 3,000 pounds. If you've ever driven heavy loads with smaller vehicles, you know how perilous it can feel at times. With the F350, it drove like it wasn't doing anything special. Sure, the braking distances were a little bit longer, but overall it just shrugged it off like Luke versus Kylo Ren at the end of The Last Jedi. This kind of almost makes me change my mind about having a truck like this, because really, this is the kind of truck you can literally throw anything at. Ford knows that even if their buyers never tow 5 Clydesdales or a 30-foot yacht, they want the option to do that. They want to feel like they can. And this F350 could easily do any of those jobs. It's really quite astonishing. And the fact that it can do all of these jobs with like practically luxury amenities. I mean, the Bang & Olufsen stereo system. We got the great Sync 3 system with CarPlay and Android Auto. Seat massagers. And of course, that huge panorama sunroof. I think it's fair to say it just doesn't get more capable plus comfortable as the Super Duty F350. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more videos. We got a whole lot of videos, and you want to check out all our old ones, and definitely keep an eye out for what we have coming up next. We got a lot of great stuff, so be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, yada yada. We'll see you next time.